Hello everyone, it's JANG here with all of the Star Wars The Last Jedi brick-built sets for the first wave of release in the flesh, in person. On my channel you will now find reviews, deep in-depth reviews for each of these sets. Or if you've seen them before, they are now back. You can find all of them in my Star Wars review playlist. In this video though, I'm going to go through each of these sets very quickly to give you kind of a summary, smaller version of those reviews in a nice small package. This is the First Order Heavy Assault Walker, or ATM-6 as it's being called in universe. It comes with a new First Order Walker driver, one First Order Stormtrooper, a new version of Rey, Captain Poe Dameron, and a Resistance Trooper. The legs are very stable and pretty well articulated, giving you a decent range of motion, front and back. And you can actually pose it on just 3 legs, so it can really look like it's taking a big step or about to trip. The head can be moved side to side and also turned. And on that head, you have a couple of spring-loaded shooters that can be fired from the sides. Those are underneath the chin section. These do not actually work here, but you can turn them. These don't actually work, but you can move them up and down. And the roof opens up and the front also angles down to give you access to space for just one single driver figure. There's also a shooting mega caliber cannon up on the top that features a 6-stud shooter that can be fired off pretty easily. And you can also angle it up and down as well as retract and extend it. The body opens up to give you some ammunition and accessory storage, but you can only really comfortably fit maybe 2 figures on each side. As a toy, this is definitely not a troop transporter. With 1,376 pieces, this is a complex build and much more involved than previous walkers. However, all those extra parts do not translate to extra size, and that makes the $160 US price point a tough pill to swallow. The Resistance Bomber is probably one of the better sets in this wave overall. It comes with Vice Admiral Holdo, another Poe Dameron, Resistance Gunner Page, a Resistance Bombardier, and a Resistance Bomber Pilot. In spite of its thin, tall, top-heavy looking design, it's actually able to stand on the ground on its own. It uses a combination of prints, stickers, and genuine brick-built details that I think all tend to flow together very well all throughout the entire model. It's also well set up for play. You can just grab the whole thing around its kind of center spine. The lower turret just falls down with gravity, and both turrets actually follow gravity for that gyro-stabilized kind of B-wing inspired sort of look. These individual turret pods that are inspired by World War II bombers are not able to actually shoot, but each one is able to hold a figure inside there between these printed dish pieces. But these guns here are able to shoot with their stud shooters, one each, and they give you some extra studs. And they also have spring-loaded shooters that are fantastically well built in, integrated, and hidden into the body. You can just see the tips of them there, and the triggers to activate those are right here. You can barely see them. They just look like regular brick-built detail, but you push that and this comes out. Also hidden away and well integrated is secret storage for an additional spring-loaded shooter projectile, and this trigger, which operates the bomb drop mechanism. This thing is a bomber and it's full of bombs, or well, these things. There are 7 of them in there and they fall out one at a time. It's a great mechanism. Bombs get reloaded very easily from this hatch here, just drop them in. And most of the remainder of the upper fuselage opens up to give you access to a generous interior space, which has a seat for the tail main gunner and also for the bombardier, who can rotate around on his seat, and he has a targeting computer console. The main canopy assembly, meanwhile, just slides off to the front, and there's space for 2 figures in there with a bunch of printed console pieces for them. This has 780 pieces, but a fair number of them are large and or printed, which somewhat helps to justify the $110 US price point. That does still feel expensive to me, but this set does display well and it plays fantastically well. Here's something a bit different. While not officially an Ultimate Collector Series BB-8, this is effectively an Ultimate Collector Series BB-8. It even comes with the UCS style plaque. At first glance, this is a pretty good representation of BB-8 in a form that just screams, hey, look at me, I'm actually made of Lego, with all of those exposed studs all over it. They did a good job of approximating the spherical main body shape and also getting in some of the important small details. The build for this was somewhat of a challenge, but a good challenge and fun. And the interior kind of skeletal build upon which you put the exterior rounded plate assemblies on is actually very functional. They basically give you some puppeteering tools to allow you to bring this whole thing to life. It has just a little bit of forward and back motion, but you can spin the head around completely just by turning this section of the body. Just really just brings a lot of joyous movement to the thing very easily, and I love how it kind of wobbles back and forth. Also, if you lift the whole thing up, the head just kind of wobbles a bit. They also help you to recreate a famous scene from The Force Awakens, bringing the little thumbs up torch out. Now, when you retract this, it does not close the door. You have to do that manually, but at least bringing it out does that pretty properly, and that's actually a new color for the little flame piece. On the included buildable stand is a regular minifig scaled BB-8, which is not exclusive to this set. This is 1,106 pieces for $100 US, which gives it a very good price to part ratio, though admittedly many of those pieces are small 1x1s. Here's Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter, or more specifically the TIE VN Space Superiority Fighter, also known as the TIE Silencer. This one comes with a new version of Kylo Ren, a First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot, one First Order Stormtrooper, and most important of all, BB-9E, aka Darth Ball. As I mentioned in my full review of this set, I cannot be impartial about it. It is basically a combination of a TIE Interceptor and Darth Vader's Advanced TIE, both of which I like very much. And then they had to go and wrap the whole thing in a very dark and deliciously evil color scheme, mostly black, with accents of trance red. It's hard to go wrong with all of those things put together, although I don't like the blue back here. This does have spring-loaded shooters that are very well integrated into the base, so they just show you the tips out the front, gives you some play value there without really taking anything away from the looks. But beyond that, there's not much else to see. This does have a cockpit that opens up and will hold either Kylo Ren or a pilot figure of some other sort, but it's a little bit cramped in there. There's no additional console and there's no additional play value or other things that you can do with this, but it just looks really good to me. The parts count of 630 is deceptively low for the size of the build, but the price of $80 US is deceptively high. Thankfully, the Resistance transport pod here is on the low end of the price scale and is not a bad set. It includes a new version of Finn, the first occurrence of Rose as a figure from The Last Jedi, and BB-8. If you're sure you've seen this before The Last Jedi, well, you're not going crazy. It's essentially a sized up version of the control pod of the Force Awakens Resistance troop transporter. So basically this with guns on the side and then scaled up. That increase in scale has allowed them to put a lot of features into this little pod, including a pretty nicely detailed cockpit area that holds onto two figures easily. They even have space to hold on to their personal weapons. Got a flight yoke there in the front. That's something we don't get very frequently. And also has a sticker for a console piece in the front. However, this canopy that removes fairly easily does have 8 stickers, 8 clear-backed stickers on it. If you don't like stickers, you may not like putting this set together because it really doesn't look so good with those left off. Those are pretty important for some of the major details. Now this does have the ability to turn the gun on the side or the gun emplacement up and down via a little bit of magic. It's kind of a remote thing. It actually feels really cool to do that. It has a single stud shooter on the side, but there are also a pair of spring-loaded shooters built in underneath here that you can barely even see. Those have a remote trigger over here with this wheel. You just turn the wheel, fires off one, fires off the other. That's a good just implementation and good integration of an action feature. The whole thing looks, I think, equally good or bad from all angles, depending upon how you look at it. And in addition to the cockpit space, you also have interior space. You can get to here. You've got a spot for BB-8, a little bit of extra storage behind that, and all this comes off as well. More storage space there. Got some thermal detonators in a compartment, and also got more storage over here. Secret compartment to hold on to some extra ammunition for your stud shooter. I actually forgot to show this compartment in my full-size review. Oops. This has just shy of 300 pieces, which makes the just shy of $30 retail price seem fairly reasonable. It is a small thing, but like I said and showed, they did pack a lot into that small package. The smallest bad guy set is this First Order Heavy Scout Walker. It comes with an annoyed General Hux, one First Order Gunner, a very nice First Order Flame Trooper, nothing new there though, and one Resistance Trooper. This looks unique, weird, potentially really ugly. Has 8 legs, and all of those legs move thanks to the very obvious wheels with tires that you see from the side. When you move this thing back and forth, it causes some cams to basically hit the legs and make them go up and down. It's not a very convincing thing to me. It doesn't look really good. It doesn't work really well either. I feel like the mechanism is just too obvious and a little bit too simplistic in how it works. Upstairs, meanwhile, you are not able to rotate the head from side to side. It's not a turret. And you can't angle the head up and down either. You can only angle these side cannons, which have the spring-loaded shooters that are entirely too obvious when they're loaded up. They work fine, but I don't like how they appear until you actually remove the projectile. You can turn these cannons, or whatever they're supposed to be, up and down a little bit, but that's about it. I think the best view of this thing is from right there. This is nice detailing, nice shaping, and I think the colors go together well too. I also think it looks pretty decent on the top, and the main hatch seals up pretty well. There's space for 2 figures to just barely fit inside. One gets a console at the front, and I think this overall works out for interior space. I think the part count of 554 here means very little, because honestly, I don't think most fans are going to be willing to pay $50 US for something that is this limited in play, doesn't work so well with its mechanism, isn't particularly attractive to look at, and doesn't even come with spectacular minifigs. But then there's the First Order Star Destroyer, the biggest set of the wave. With this, we get an exclusive figure of Supreme Leader Snoke himself, and I'll come back to him. Next to him is an First Order officer. Next to him is a First Order shuttle pilot, a couple of stormtroopers, one of them being a squad leader, not a sergeant. Here's a medical droid, and most importantly, once again, is Darth Maul. But coming back to that Supreme Leader Snoke, I personally feel this is a fantastically well-detailed figure, both from the front and from the back. There's only one problem with it. He should be 1.5 times as tall. I think the overall shape of this Resurgence class battle cruiser has been well replicated by LEGO, and they put a good amount of detail into the upper decks, which are layered well, including gaps beneath them to let you see under there. That gets up to 11 plates thick in total to pull all of that off. This does have stud shooters used on the sides for defense cannons, which is fine in and of itself, I think, except these don't move. They're completely stationary, so they're only able to fire directly to the side and down. That has limited play value, if you ask me. Around the back, looks not too bad. Could have used a little bit more detail, maybe a little bit more covering of some of the Technic stuff, but overall I think it displays pretty well. The bridge section of it, the main bridge that is, looks quite good to me. This looks really good on display from many angles, and for transport or potentially play, they also include, as usual, a handle that retracts into the top of the thing. It comes from right here. It just comes out and it's right at the balance point, so you can pick the whole thing up with a single finger. It even looks respectable from the underside to me, except for that one red piece that kind of sticks out. But as Lego sets go, yeah, not bad if you want to hang this from a ceiling, but make sure you have a very strong hook. Actually, I better double down on that statement. Do not try to hang this from anything unless you have the right equipment to do it. It's heavy and it can tear a ceiling apart. On a lighter note, I think the interior here is the best of any Lego Star Destroyer to date. They just make really good use of the space, and they try to finish up the interior spaces as best they can. There are a lot of stickers, there are some printed pieces as well, but there are just a lot of usable spaces. I like the stairs over here. I like the fact that you can go through kind of a tunnel there to get to the other side. Just many activities I think can be played out throughout this whole thing. They even have kind of a working little turbo lift over here on the side to get up to Snoke's throne room. And he does have to be leaned back a little bit to fit the top of this down, but he gets a little miniature build of a translucent hologram to represent Kylo Ren or someone else, and he has a console next to him. This set comes with 1,416 pieces, and the price, brace yourself, $160 US. Not terrible value, but not great either. Well, that went longer than I expected, as usual, but if you want to listen to me talk even longer about these same sets, please do check out the full reviews in the Star Wars playlist on my channel. I regularly do new reviews when new things come out, and I also do work on custom builds. I hope to have a chance to talk to you again soon, but for now, I'll let you go. Thanks for watching.